What are the top 3 problems on this team?
Half-court offense at times, defense, out of timeout situations.
Okay, so a coaching aspect is 3 for you. Bob?
You want me to put them in order?
Yeah. Or whatever.
Defense number 1, out of timeout, late game situations 2, and then at times half-court offense.
Team defense, presently, not for the future, presently the integration of Luka and Kyrie working together in the offense, and then third is probably the rotations.
Okay, so those first 2 I could blame on personnel and not Kid. I could. Team defense, like, they don't have any defenders. They're you could blame Jason Kidd for not putting their best perimeter defender on the floor.
Right. That's where his hand comes into this. And look, to be fair, if we're going to give him credit for last year and the defensive job they did, then he's also got to take some of the blame for this, regardless of personnel. We can't say that it's personnel this year and last year it was Jason Kidd. So, if he wants the credit for that, which it seems like he wants credit for a lot and doesn't want blame for a lot, but if that's what we're going to do, then we need to say, all right, then you also are responsible for some of what's gone on with this defense, specifically through rotations.
Kyrie, whether he's been pressing after missing the final shot last night.
Obviously we had a few different options on that last play, but I just appreciate the coaching staff and my teammates trusting me with that shot and just the comfort they gave me afterwards. Really want to win here, really put a lot of pressure on myself at times. I think I need to scale it back a little bit just because of the second half of the season, just feeling like we got to be great every single possession. And usually these learning curves or learning moments happen in preseason and just happening now. So it definitely puts a glaring eye on what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Easy to criticize, but for us, I just got to focus on being the best that I can be and showing up for not only Luka, but for my teammates.
Kyrie, last 2 games, 15 of 40 from 3, 2 of 14, 14%. So I was just looking at this game in a vacuum last night. Tell me how unfair this is. This is a 1-game observation, well, maybe a 2-game observation. That as great as Kyrie Irving is Luka Doncic that much better? Just a side question I was thinking to myself. Or is that, being unfair to the last couple games? But is Luka that much better than Kyrie Irving?
I mean, Kyrie's a top player in the league, not the top. Kyrie doesn't have a chance to be the top. Luka does.
Okay.
It's like, is he that much better? I mean, how much better is let's just say Luka is at worst the 4th best player in the league. Right? Let's say at worst. What's Kyrie? 10?
He's
12?
Yeah, probably back into the top 10.
I mean, how much better is the 4th to the 10th?
Well, it depends. Like, we have these quarterback arguments where you draw the line. Where's the elite line?
So if you've got Burrow, Mahomes, and Allen as your top 3, how much better is Herbert than, so let's say Herbert your 4, whoever your 4 is, Hurts, Herbert, whatever. How much better is number 4 than 10?
I think that Luka's, so when we talk about that drop, the elite tier drop, to me, the elite tier is 3 players that are, to me, above everybody else. And Luka's in there. To me, right now, it's Luka, it's Giannis, it's Jokic. And those are the 3 guys that I think are elevated above everybody else. And then after that, it's a little bit of a step down. And I think that on that step down, Kyrie is the back end of the step down. So I think it's a significant gap, but they do so many things well different from each other. Like when you watch Kyrie, it's easy to see stuff that he does so much better than Luka that it's easy to look at it and go, man, it's not that big a difference. And I think we've become a little jaded to Luka's presence and his greatness here, that the freshness of what Kyrie does that Luka doesn't, by comparison, makes it go, this is closer than I thought.
Does everybody want to still re-sign Kyrie, and does anyone regret the trade?
Oh, no. I absolutely do not regret the trade.
Okay.
I didn't regret the Porzingis trade either. You had to take a shot. You're trying something. I'm not gonna fault them. the Rangers, whether you want to fault them or not for getting DeGrom and taking that risk, and that was a big risk with the money.
Huge.
It's a huge risk. It's probably not the wisest risk based on as recent 2-year injury history. At least they're trying something.
Yeah.
They're trying. I'm not going to fault them for trying. You want to fault the plan that they're buying from the bottom? Sure. The Mavs aren't doing that. The Mavs didn't buy from the bottom. The Mavs were in the West Finals last year. They were trying to get better. I'm not going to fault them for that. I think it was a fine move. Kyrie Irving is a top 10 to 15 player in the NBA. Why wouldn't I want that?
No, and that's the thing is that I don't have regrets about it because we can't sit here and clamor for help for him. And then when they go out there and give him help, go like, well, shouldn't have done that. Like that's sort of the reason why
you can't. Yeah, we don't have to just, it's like I told Broadus, we don't have to just accept any move they make. They should still be held responsible for making smart moves.
Right. But I think that when you look at the type of help they needed, just for the improvement of the team, just for interest from the fan base. I mean, when was last time like either of you went to a Mavs game?
Last night.
Oh, okay, that's right. You did.
West Finals.
But in general, just in terms of for the improvement of Luka and the improvement of the team and taking a shot, you had to do it. Now, you're right. I guess you can go back and say, do you regret it? Sure, you can say you regret it, but you cannot blame the Mavericks. I don't think you can blame the Mavericks for making the deal.
What is it going to take to keep Kyrie Irving around here? Does everyone still want him around here? Tim McMahon on his ESPN podcast.
Oh,
so
he's got all the leverage in the world. Like, listen, the Mavs might have to give him a 5-year, $270 million max contract to keep him. That's just the fact. Hey, they gave KP a 5-year max deal with a freaking player option when he hadn't played in a year and a half. At least Kyrie's played.
Who knew Kyrie could ever win a showdown in terms of playing time?
They're finding any way to keep Kyrie in the news. The topic with Stephen A is, will Durant and Booker be better duo than KD Kyrie? How could it not be a better duo? It's Kevin Durant's debut tonight, Suns at Hornets. Bobby?
It seems like he was traded like 2 weeks ago.
What is the rest of the league saying about Kyrie staying here?
So this is from Eric Pincus over at Bleacher Report, and he had the story on Monday. What are NBA insiders saying about Kyrie's long-term future with the Mavericks? And it seems pretty unanimous among the people that he's talking to that everybody pretty much expects Kyrie Irving to sign an extension in Dallas. One Eastern Conference executive said, I'm not sure where else he goes unless the Lakers don't re-sign D'Angelo Russell. They can't get to Kyrie's max. You had another source who said Kyrie's goal in pushing out of Brooklyn was to get his rights with a team willing to pay him. Dallas is where he'll want to be. And then another executive said, Kyrie will be on his best behavior until he gets paid. After is a different story. Unless he and Luka actively despise each other, I don't see Dallas letting him go. And this is on the heels of everything that Woj had to say, where Woj was projecting it. And I think it was the same thing with Brian Windhorst recently on TV. He said he would expect that Kyrie's there. So there's a groundswell, it seems like, of opinion that Kyrie Irving is going to be here past this year.
That's good, I think, right?
Sure.
I mean, if you want him here, if you don't want him, I mean, like, it depends on what your preference is.
That's what I'm asking.
Now,
people still want him.
Here's the downside. One NBA source said, and this is what we know, obviously, the defensive side. One NBA source said, teams already target Luka on defense. Mavs have done a reasonably solid job of protecting him. It's much harder to hide two guys. With Jalen Brunson, he's short but fights hard and is a better defender than Kyrie. It could be a real problem for Dallas.
Man, gosh, who would have thought that Jalen Brunson would be more desirable than Kyrie Irving?
Oh, he's not.
Oh, he's not. Yeah,
He's not?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Like in terms of as a skill set, no.
No,
Like obviously,
all things included.
Well, all things included.
And that article just said he's a better defensive player.
I think
This team's number one problem in Choppy's mind, and I don't disagree, is defense. I guarantee you, if you put out a poll question, and I don't want to go back too far, like I just made fun of First Take for, if people could have Kyrie or Brunson here for the next 3 years, they would vote Brunson. I bet.
I would take the better player. That's Kyrie.
Well,
but I understand, like, Brunson may fit better.
Well, all the issues you got to factor in. Is Kyrie going to be straight here for 3 years? Probably not.
Well,
that factors in.
That'll be tomorrow's poll question then. Who do you want for the next 3 years? Jalen Brunson
No,
or Kyrie Irving? I
no.
bet you Kyrie Irving wins that poll 60-40.
Wow. Just because he's like wearing the colors and Mavs homer, support our own right now.
No, I think people still would look at it as like bring me the better ball player, and I think people would just say Kyrie's talent is too much.
What do you think? How would you vote, Peyton?
I'd vote Kyrie.
You would.
No
Next
doubt.
3
Yeah.
years? No doubt?
No doubt.
I would prefer Brunson probably, but in terms of the skill set, it's Kyrie. But like for this team, knowing none of the sideshow stuff would be involved, I'd take Brunson.
I'd take Kyrie. I want the sideshow.